Well, let's get to topic one. Gerrymandering. Now, recently, a photo of Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones resurfaced of him as a 14-year-old high school student back in 1957. But this wasn't no Happy Days picture of him at the sock hop. Now, his ass was spotted in the back of an angry mob that was trying to block black kids from going to their school. Now, Jerry says he was just a curious spectator who happened to be there. However, others are calling for a flag on the play, okay? I am a Cowboys fan, but I'm not about to defend this white man, all right? Because he's gonna be fine, all right? It doesn't benefit any black person to defend this, and it's really no defense to be had, just a conversation. So panel, are we buying that a 14-year-old kid could have just been curious, okay? We all ran towards the commotion as a kid in school. What do y'all think? Trayvon, let me start with you.
I mean, I find it a little funny that he stuck around so long to be photographed. But, I mean, I think also a white person with too much time on their hands could be a little dangerous. And he seemed to have a lot of time on his hands, as did the people trying to stop the black kids from getting into the school. Okay. So I'm a little skeptical of I was just kind of being a bystander, because you figure out what's going on pretty quick when you show up to a scene where people are like, no, we don't want these black kids going to the school. Yeah. And somebody got a camera. So that's kind of on you at that point.
Yeah, Representative Dennings, what do you think?
You know, of course, we all were curious at 14, right? We get that part. But when he says he was just, you know, standing there watching, not participating, well, if you look at the photo, it looks like everybody else was standing there watching, quote, not participating, right?
Except for the kid with the cigarette in his mouth.
Except for the kid. And so, you know, one thing for sure, we couldn't see his heart in those days. But what we do know was that he was standing with a crowd that was blocking black children from integrating the school. Now, can we go back and change that? No, we can't. But what he does now, that he's in a position of power and influence, matters. If he is so remorseful about what happened all those years ago in 1957, what are you doing now?
Well, he's 80. He's been around for a while. He's had enough time to do things. Yeah.
Plenty of time.
What do you think, Big Seals?
I just would have appreciated him keeping it a buck, because it wouldn't have been odd for him to be in that mix, because that was the mindset at that time.
That was the mix.
That was the mix. And then now the mix has shifted, we'd like to think, enough for him to say, I was wrong then, that was wrong then, and this is how we should be doing it now. I would have felt way better about it if he would have just done that.
Yeah. You know, ESPN analyst Jay Williams, he was on First Take today, and he said Jerry Jones should be asked to denounce systemic racism, and he should tell us what he's learned. Yeah. And I wonder, is he right? Because what is the call to action? What should the call to action be about a situation like this? Seals?
I mean, I think the call to action for Jerry Jones, well, first of all, Jerry Jones at that time may not have spent a lot of time with a lot of black people. And we know that he's spending a lot of time with a lot of black people at this point. So I think when we talk about the call to action, it speaks to what Representative Dennings was saying. You know, at the end of the day, you have a powerful platform, you have a lot of money, and there are a lot of places to put that money that advances black folks beyond the systemic racism that you were a part of when you were 14.
True. What do you think, Representative Dennings?
You know what? Age 14, a lot of years ago, we can't go back and change it. And like has been stated, we all could find ourselves in a photograph that, you know, doesn't fully explain
why
we were there.
I know.
Right? But what matters now, he's responsible for explaining that photograph. I think he does have an obligation, because now it is a topic of discussion, as it needs to be. Should he denounce it? Yes. Should he say, bring people together, people of position and influence together, and talk about a plan to address racism in America? He can be a part of that discussion and that action.
Or at least in Texas, where he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has to. Now he's in a position. He can try to explain it away, but now he's in a position, the light is on him. Not just on racism in America as it has been, but now it's on him. So what's he going to do about it?
I love that you keep referencing that he was 14, because how do we feel in regards to creating a narrative about a person based on what they did when they were 14? Don't you think that's a slippery slope?
I think it's a realistic slope for many black children. When we look at the way that black children are adultified on a regular basis and held to consequences that were created for them in a very like Oedipin kind of way before they even had the opportunity to, I think it's a very real thing to say that at 14 years old, he 100% was conscious of the hatred that had been taught in his home and how he was carrying it forward. And now, as a grown man, he can speak against that. And I don't think that's unrealistic or unreasonable for us to expect.
True. I want to ask you a question, Representative Demings, right? Because Joe Biden and Jerry Jones, they're the same age, right? And Joe Biden has been buddy-buddy with segregationists, okay? He worked with those segregationists, you know, to create crime legislation, and we all know he sponsored a bill that would limit the power of courts to order school desegregation with busing. So I ask, what's the difference? Because I know, you know, we all voted for him. I did, at least.
I did too.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I believe anybody who wants to do good, because as I said earlier, I can't change your heart. You are what you are, right? You know your motives and intentions. But if you are a racist and a segregationist and you want to invest in a program that will help black and brown communities, write the check out too. And so I do believe you can still do good though. And you know, in Congress, look, I work there every day. Y'all pray for me.
We do.
But we have to, if we want to get legislation passed, we've got to find a Republican sponsor. I'm a Democrat. We've got to find a Republican sponsor to co-sponsor that legislation. And so anybody who wants to do good, we should always provide that opportunity to do so. But be careful how far you go down that road with somebody that does not share your beliefs and your values.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seals, your face is saying something? Or has your face said it all?
No, my face was saying, it sucks that we have to get a Republican co-sponsor to get something across the line.
We always have to compromise with the fascists.
Yeah!
Yes.
That's what my face was saying.
Yes, okay.
We got a long show.
Yeah.
Now, like, you know, to Representative Deming's point, I don't think we can tell from that photo what Jerry Jones was thinking, but we know what this situation was, okay? This was absolute systemic racism at its finest, and he was there, and I feel it's important to know who all these white people are in these photos, okay? We know that 14-year-old kid grew up to be, you know, Jerry Jones, but what about the rest of them? Especially this one, all right? Okay? These guys could be judges, doctors, CEOs of companies, and all could be denying black people opportunities because of good old systemic racism, all right?